Welcome to Bon Jovi Discussions. Today I have my buddy Zach, who is right now in the Israel. How's it going, buddy?
It's going good.
Good.
Um, like before we start the episode, I just wanted to dedicate this episode to the Israeli hostages that are still in Gaza. Let's hope they'll be out very pretty soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. So before we get started, Zach, I want to just give you a shout out here because you are one of the biggest supporters of this podcast. Every time I upload a new episode, you're like one of the very first to watch it and comment it and always giving feedback on it. So I just want to tell you thank you for always showing your support on this podcast. It means a lot to me. I
Of course,
appreciate it. Yeah,
of course, great podcast, great source. It's always fun listening to it.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. So before we get started to our fun topic, because I am excited, I want to ask you, how did you become a Bon Jovi fan?
Okay, so I'm like 25. So like when I was around 10, I came to the States for vacation.
Okay.
My dad, my dad was like a big 80, 90. Like my dad grew up like on Billy Joel, all these like big. My dad was like Bon Jovi. So in 2010, I went to one of the concerts of 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 the Circle tour. It was amazing. I was like amazed of John, and
Hmm.
since then I've been like a huge fan. He came to Israel actually twice. Bon Jovi came twice. He came in 2015.
Yep.
It was a great concert. It was right before this House is Not for Sale came out. It was like he did a couple countries he's actually never been.
Yeah.
He did Indonesia, he did Israel.
I always like to joke it and call it the I've never been here tour.
Exactly. And also he was in This House is Not for Sale. He did in 2019, last year, like of the tour. And it was great seeing John live. And
Yeah,
what's amazing about YouTube, I have to say, for me, a lot of my concerts I've seen on YouTube. It's amazing how people upload full concerts of Bon
I
Jovi.
know.
I
Don't you
have to say,
love it?
definitely underrated because so many other artists, you don't get to see full concerts if you don't really go. But Bon Jovi, I
Yeah.
can see full concerts.
Yeah, I agree. I always say, I became a fan in 2000. So obviously I've missed everything before 2000. I've missed them in the 80s and the 90s. But what's so great is that even though I missed those tours, I still get to experience it in a way of being able to watch it on YouTube and kind of seeing, okay, this is what it was like. And so that's special. Or, like the live tracks that we're about to talk about. It just gives you that essence of what
Yeah, like
they were before you became a fan.
I'll tell you, like for me, like seeing I sometimes go and watch the Wembley concert in '95. I watch all 3 nights he was there, and his vocals, everything of that night was perfect. And like it's fun always going back to when they started and everything. But
Yeah.
it's amazing you can go back to every concert, and of course the live experience, switch,
Nothing beats a live concert, man.
nothing
Nothing.
beats a live concert. And
Yeah.
I have to say, but I've been to a lot of concerts. Bon Jovi's concert, John, and the band's energy is amazing.
Yeah, there's nothing better than being in an arena or a stadium or even in an intimate room, and it's just your favorite band in front of you, and
Yeah,
you're with all of your Bon Jovi friends who love this band as much as you and singing their hearts out. There's nothing more special than that,
yeah,
you know.
definitely.
So
I, I hope we
let's
get
get
that soon.
what's that?
I hope we get a tour soon.
Fingers crossed, buddy. Let's hope. Um,
Yeah.
but let's get into our topic, man, because I am excited to talk about this. Today, we are going to talk about the 2025 release of Slippery When Wet Deluxe Edition, which
Yes.
officially came out yesterday, the 28th. And well, let's just dive right into it. So, a little bit of overview before we really dive deep.
Of course.
So last January, we got a 40th anniversary of the debut album, a deluxe edition that included demos of Runaway and what was
What else? Let's see. I forgot.
there was another one on there. I'm drawing a blank for it. But then we got some live tracks, and then so fast. So we only that was only digital last year in January. So fast forward to November, we got a physical release of the debut album, Deluxe, the 40th anniversary deluxe edition, I like to call it. And so then there were some leaks online that Slippery was going to come out, but there were no official information, blah, blah, blah. So long story
I remember
short,
there were a lot of rumors. I remember there were a lot of rumors online. Will it come out? When it will come out? When?
yeah, usually the fans find out about stuff before it gets released or gets
Yeah,
announced. But anyway, so they officially announced it last month, actually January. And so this is the 2025 deluxe edition of Slippery When Wet. So for
yeah.
people that are listening and didn't know about this, you can go on the band's website and there's a bunch of Slippery When Wet merch on there. You can also get CD, you can get a cassette, you can now the CD is the only one that has the bonus tracks, the live tracks. Um, but you can also get a cassette of the standard album. You can get different vinyls of the album, and there's also some cool shirts like the one that I'm wearing. And
Oh, that's
look at
awesome.
me promoting this band's website.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but
There's a lot of new merchandise in general lately of Bon
yeah,
Jovi. A lot.
yeah. And so you can people can also stream it on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you stream music, you can find it.
Like I can tell you, I found it on Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify. But I want to go back to the merch real quick because I know since we're talking about the merch already, there was a lot of cool merch that was on the band's website. And my personal favorite, I actually have it in the background here if people can see
Oh,
it
wait, well,
on the lower left is the her name was Angela Cherub. Forgive me if I forget her last name. But she did the album cover for Supermoon Wet, the original cover, and they did a
oh,
puzzle, and I
oh, she's
love
the
the
one that took
puzzle.
the. Is she the one that took the picture originally?
The picture, yeah.
Ah,
Um, so I have the puzzle framed, and so yeah, so a lot of cool merch on there. Did you get anything on the website?
no, I
No,
haven't got, but I
it's not
actually,
too late.
yeah, I am planning to get. It's
Yeah.
never too late.
So for people wondering, on the website, there's some T-shirts. There's a hoodie, the deluxe CD, the cassette, vinyls. There's a water-filled vinyl that actually sold out. It was limited to I think 1,000 or 1,500.
Yeah.
But there's a picture disc. Lots of cool stuff to check out on there. So let's get into this deluxe edition. So I was kind of shocked that we kind of got this year instead of next year because next year is the 40th anniversary of Slippery. Now, I
Yeah.
won't say no to any Jovi release. Hey, if
You know
I'll
what?
say yes to
Any release they take out, I wait and I'll be happy no matter when.
exactly. So I with 7800's anniversary is this month, and it's the 40th year anniversary of 7800. I don't, and obviously we know John doesn't like the album that much, but it's a fan favorite. And
Yeah.
I just wonder why come we didn't get like a 40th anniversary edition of 700. No, maybe I'm speaking prematurely. Maybe they are going to put something out. Who knows? But you would think like they did with debut and Slippery, it was kind of in advance. Well, I guess
Yeah.
not Slippery, but so it is what it is. But we'll see. You never know. But so maybe they're planning on something even bigger for Slippery next year because
Well,
you got
maybe,
this is the band's biggest album. It's one of the biggest
maybe,
albums of all time.
like you said, maybe this is just maybe it's a peak. Maybe we're gonna get many more live versions. Maybe we're gonna get different stuff we never heard.
Yeah, because I love this. I love the demos. I absolutely love this release. I'm very thankful for it. The only thing I wish they would have put on it were more. I would have loved to hear more demos of songs, especially like Without Love and I Die for You, Never Say Goodbye.
Yeah.
I would have loved to hear demos like we did for Runaway, like you know, yeah, all the different kind of recordings that they did prior to the final release. But that's
Yeah.
just me. Um, what's your before we get into the live tracks, what's your favorite on this album?
Living on a Prayer, of course.
Living on a Prayer, good choice.
I always love the story of Living on a Prayer. The fact that John did not want to record it,
I know.
and and he got convinced by in the last second to take it, and he took it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, well, and here's the thing that John has said in interviews though, is that John and Richie just had
Acoustic
uh
version.
the acoustic is like on the keys, the E minor chord, the dun dun dun. I can't do the dun dun, dun I can't do it. But So that's all that was. It wasn't the version that we know now. It wasn't before Tico and David and Hewitt or Alec, came in and really did the song.
Yes,
Um,
I remember hearing him say that once he got to the studio, he said, "I want it," because he heard all the instruments together, all the rock they wanted to put in this album.
exactly. So, but this album, this deluxe edition is remastered in 2024 technology. It was produced by Obi O'Brien, John Bon Jovi, and another gentleman. And I want to put his name in here because it's really credit Harry Winger. So the three of them, put this together for us. So obviously, if you listen to the 1986 CD, you listen to the 1992 Gold Signature release, if you listen to the
And
1998 remaster, if you listen to the 2006 dual disc release, if you
a lot
listen
of
to
different
the
versions you have here, a lot of different versions.
yeah, well, so then there's the 2010 special edition, and then we got a 2017 vinyl release, and then this. It is a huge difference. I mean, with the technology that we have now, like I said, you put the 1986 CD in versus this CD,
Yeah, it's
you're
the
in,
same original sound. It's the same original sound you can
yeah,
actually get. It's amazing.
but it's
Another
a okay,
another song I really love on this album, Never Say Goodbye.
yeah,
I think I actually have to say, I think for the 80s, like Never Say Goodbye, I think was the song that it came right before its time. I mean, I think that's a
yeah,
song you didn't have you had rock ballads, of course, in the 80s, but I think that rock ballad changed a lot.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And I'm a sucker for ballads, and I think some of the best songs, even by Bon Jovi, are ballads. So, but what I wanted to say about the mixes real quick was like the mixes on this album are so good. Like a lot of things are more clear, like the vocals or the choruses are more anthemic and more loud in your face. Like the other night, I put "Living on a Prayer," "Thank You, Good Night" remix
Yeah,
on in my Jeep when I was going on a drive.
yeah,
I had it on blast, and man, it sounded so good. And we'll get into all that, but like, so I'm really like as a fan of like, and I really appreciate the new mixes. I love the new sound of these songs. It kind of takes these songs to a new level.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So,
amazing how it does.
mhm.
Like
So
what like what you said before, the fact that the new technology can basically do that for us,
yeah,
and like, having it sound like exactly like it's amazing.
yeah, it's incredible. But let's get into the live tracks. So the first one is we got Wanted Dead or Alive, which is the acoustic version. And what I really so I do enjoy Wanted. I actually prefer, and this is a crazy opinion. Everybody makes fun of me for it. I actually
Yeah,
like the This Left Feels Right version over the Slippery version. Now, I appreciate, I like, and I
but
respect the
then
Slippery version.
maybe because that night was meant to be more acoustic,
Yeah,
then this
yeah,
maybe it was the
I
terms. I understand from where it's coming from. I
yeah,
still think it's very good.
yeah. And the This Left Feels Right version, I just love the down, down. And then the way that John's vocals is. I don't know if isolated is the word, but just the way it sounds. I think I love it. But so anyway, so we got an acoustic version of Wanted Dead or Alive, and I wonder if this is a demo. But John's vocals are really raw in this, which I really love. I think it sounds really
I think it actually adds to it. It
yeah,
adds nostalgia. The fact that like John himself said that he all in all the years before, like we're not talking about vocals now, we're talking even the 80s. He said he even got better and better all the time.
yeah,
Hear
exactly. And
hear different versions of it.
yeah, and we're gonna get into this with the other live tracks, but
Yeah,
obviously, 1983 to 1990 was just a whirlwind for the band, constant touring, and John beat his
yeah,
vocals up. And so with the Slippery tour, I mean, I think he said 87 on the last two legs. He was doing steroids
yeah.
or
He was
or
tired.
some kind of shot to get his vocals warmed up or whatever.
What?
But
Wait, I have a question. I think we're talking about. about yeah the 7 years that they did, and then afterward they switched management, and John took more. They got more balance that they wanted to get the balance.
Right.
They like you hear and like of course and like you hear in the documentary like that they said they were all tired
Hmm.
for them.
Yeah. So in 87, John was taking some kind of shot to help his vocals. But you know what? In some of these performances, you could tell his voice is tired and worn out. But I tell you what, it still
He still
sounds
sounds
good. And
great.
I kind of like it like that because not that I get enjoyment out of it, but I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I do and still enjoy it,
I
even
I
though his
think what you're
voice is
trying to
tired.
say that I think you're that what you're trying to say is that you can actually appreciate even hearing that vocals.
That's it. That's what I'm trying to say.
The fact
Yeah.
that maybe it wasn't his top performances, of course, because the amount of times that Bon Jovi performed in '83 to 1990,
Yeah.
no band I think performed in a
Right.
row that way.
Yeah. And I think I appreciate that John just kept going and going and didn't stop. And they had that chip on his shoulder attitude. Um, Another thing that I really liked about this Wanted version is the way that John and Richie collaborate on vocals, especially the third and fourth verse. Um,
Ah,
yeah, it's incredible. Like I always say, John and Richie are the best rock
music
duo of.
duo of all time, the best
Yeah.
music duo.
Yep.
Vocally, John and Richie are the best. And I think what Richie actually gave John a lot of times, and you can even hear in these versions, when you heard John's voice get tired, Richie a lot of times took the higher key, and then it actually helped John to get right in
Yeah.
the where he wanted it. So they both completed their voices, completed each other. That's
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah. They just complemented each other vocally, songwriting, musically. Um, Another great thing about this track is Richie's acoustic solo. And
Yeah,
I love when John, right before the solo starts, he yells to Richie, play that sixth string. And I thought that was pretty cool.
it's
Um,
pretty. Yeah, it's fun hearing that.
yeah,
I
I just love
I love that
I
they
did.
uploaded that part. I love it that they took it. It's like authentic. It's real.
Yeah, exactly. And then lastly, I love John and Richie's vocals at the end when I think it's Richie. He goes woo, he like ooh or something like that. I love the way that they kind of end the song with that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, all right, let's go to the next one. The next one is Living on a Prayer. Thank you. Good night mix. Now, this was like I said the other day, I put this on in my Jeep on loud, and man, it sounds bad ass, man. It sounds really good.
And I
Obviously, so it's a little different musically. The intro has a heavier Richie talk box, and you can hear Richie's talk box a little louder in the verses.
yeah.
Like when Tommy used to work on you hear the talk box a little more louder in this version, which I think is really cool. The pre-chorus and chorus I think is one of my favorite parts of the song because it just like I was saying earlier the sound of it just sounds amplified. We got to hold on to what we got. It doesn't make a difference and just man, like I'm telling you, if anybody hasn't listened to this version on loud on a good sound system,
You
do it.
have you have to. I
Yep.
did that too today. I heard it loud as I can earlier today, and I said, "Wow, it's perfect." Like,
Yeah.
and like you can actually hear what their message that they really believe in what they're singing here.
Yeah. Exactly. And the trailer for the Thank You Good Night that they did last year, Living on a Prayer sounded really good on that trailer. So it's nice that we kind of got this as a release this year. Did you
I don't-
think that
Were you surprised that they actually chose from "Thank You Goodnight" to add for the deluxe album?
no, I think it was actually kind of perfect, because that was to celebrate 40 years. And I think, with the I'm sure there were so many other choices they probably wanted to put on it, but I thought it was a great choice because I
Love
loved
that.
it.
Like I was like. I actually thought it's a really cool move they did. I love that move.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Did you think? when you listen to the guitar solo, it's definitely the same notes and style, but I think it's on like a different tone. Doesn't it sound like it's a different tone?
It actually does.
Yeah, same
And
notes and everything, but it just has a different sound to it.
I think the whole sound was different.
Yeah, and
Of
I don't know if that's a mixing thing or if it was truly more of like a demo style solo. I don't know, but it sounds really good. I love it.
yeah. It
Um,
completes it. I think it actually completes the version of
yeah,
exactly from You Good Night. It completes it.
yeah, exactly. I agree with you. And then the outro is really cool. So obviously we don't have that fade out like we're used to. It
Yeah.
just kind of goes into a drum fill, and then it goes. And then Richie just plays the talk box, and that kind of finishes the song. And I thought that was really cool sound. So you get Richie as in the intro with the talk box, and that's the way it fades out.
Yes.
You know, and that's the whole signature talk box for the band was. It started off with Living on a Prayer. So.
Talk about, I have to say, one of the best moves Bon Jovi ever decided and done.
Mhm.
That changed a lot of the music, by the way.
Yeah, there's so many great songs that Richie have used on the talk box. That's not even, obviously that it's on "It's My Life," but like songs like "Bullet," "Love Me Back to Life."
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank on the other ones, but uh, let's get into the next one. "Raise Your Hands," the extended Obi remix.
Oh, Brian. Yeah.
Yes, and Obi is a legend.
Yeah.
This was so we heard this version a couple weeks ago on the Sirius XM special. So this one starts out with, and I think this is on the 2006. I have to go back and listen, but I think this is on the 2006 dual disc release.
Oh, yeah?
I
2006?
I think because "Raise Your Hands" and "Never Say Goodbye" have a different intro.
Yes.
But this one has Richie warming up in the beginning. That's what Obi jokes about on the Sirius XM special that he was warming up. And so that's cool. So you kind of hear a little bit of Richie, then obviously the song that we know it this starts up.
Yeah.
Um, and this just like prayer, it sounds really good loud. Good mix. I think the outro is like my favorite part, and I have it written down here. So the outro is different. It has John talking. So after Sayreville, New Jersey, the song fades out. But on this version, it doesn't. After he says Sayreville, New Jersey,
Yeah.
he says, "And anywhere else I haven't been, I'm sure my manager will send me soon. If
And
there's a place to
I
play
love
on
that.
bars, I'm sure there's a date. Son of a bitch. God, good." Yeah. So, and then that's how he, so
I
he,
was laughing.
joking with,
When I heard that, I was laughing and I said, I love it. Please give us more of that. We can actually hear what they were saying back then. It's amazing.
yeah. It's funny. It was just, it kind of showed
So,
you how much fun that they were having in the studio. And obviously it didn't make the final version, but man, I laughed at that. That was awesome. I loved it.
I was like, I heard, and I went back to hear a couple times that him say that. It was just so
Yeah,
funny.
absolutely, man. Um, so was there anything you want to say about Raise Your Hands that I didn't
Uh,
mention?
it was, yeah, I actually did want that. It was like, it was really interesting hearing the longer version of the song. And I actually did like the mix. I liked everything about this version. I thought it was a great version. And plus, I was going to say the talking part was the best.
Yeah, absolutely. I took the
Yeah,
words out of your mouth.
because you said 2006 didn't have that part, and here we had him say that.
Yeah,
They like
so
faded it out, and
yeah,
here they did fade out the send.
yep, exactly. Next one is Wild in the Streets. So this was live in Cincinnati in March of 1987. So before we get into the live tracks, I do want to say,
Yeah,
obviously the band rose to fame with Slippery. It became their biggest album. They exploded. And it's one of the biggest rock albums in history. With being
yeah.
able to hear these live tracks, it shows you how and why this band was the biggest band. It shows the band at the top of their game. And most importantly, um, songs like Prayer and Let It Rock, where John is ad-libbing and getting the crowd worked up, you can show the kind of frontman that John was, even at what he would have been
You see his
25.
energy. You can see his
His
energy.
yeah, his energy. I mean, he was just hyping that, especially when we get to Let It Rock. he was hyping that crowd up. And so that's what I love about these live tracks. It gives you a sense of what that tour was like and the
And
energy the
why
band
people
had.
say is it's like I hear people, people older than us obviously they always tell me that this tour made them go crazy for Bon Jovi. And you can see the energy that John gave and Let It Rock. And of course, like, Wild in the Streets, Living on a Prayer, and all these songs
Hmm.
made them go like, come on, that's crazy. Because
Yeah,
'cause what I always like about John said, he said, I wasn't the most talented. There were other better singers than me, but I worked the hardest. So you could see
yeah,
even here, he worked so hard to get the crowd up and go
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I agree. But in my opinion, he was still the greatest singer.
My opinion
Um,
too. I'm just saying what he was talking
oh
about
yeah, yeah,
himself.
no, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just going off by what John has said. Yeah. So Wild in the Streets. This is actually my favorite rock song on Slippery. Um, so I love that we got a live version of it. Like I said earlier, John does sound tired on this, but he still sounds really good.
Yeah.
Um, I think, it's a good live track. Obviously, we've heard this song live 1,000 times, not a
A lot
thousand times,
of
a lot
times.
of times.
The last time he actually had done it, I think he performed it in the 2013 tour. When was the last time he actually did
I
it?
I
I don't
think it
remember.
was the Circle Tour. It was the last
Turkey
time.
tour was the last
If
time he
not,
did.
it was Lost Highway Tour.
Yeah, because you
Yeah,
didn't hear. Yeah, because for a while I didn't hear John perform that. It's a really hard
yeah.
song.
Oh yeah, especially that chorus. But I still say this: the band could, I mean, they could still do this song live and let the audience sing that chorus.
Yeah,
With Slippery as big of
like
an
it's
album
not
as it is.
fair. It's like in living, like when they let us, like when John lets us
Yeah,
do the like
yep,
they do the. If John doesn't want to do it, it's okay. We can do it, or like
yeah,
the band can also do it.
exactly. I'll sing my heart out. I do like the outro on this live performance as well. The way the band jams a little bit before it ends. It's pretty good. Anything you want to say about Wild in the Streets live on this
I'm
album?
not. I don't have anything to add to what you said. What you said is exactly what I was thinking about. So
It's like we have the same notes.
yeah,
All right, the next one is Living on a Prayer live in Detroit. Um, I do like John's speech in the beginning with the old man, and I think he was insinuating that the old man thought he was Chuck Berry. Um, but something like I said was saying earlier, this performance really shows you the energy that the band had and why they were unstoppable and at the top of their game. It's just this is proof why they were the biggest. In my opinion, they still are the biggest band of all.
and back then also John also used to hit the high chords. He also used to sing it live.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So when people come and tell me, "Oh, he doesn't sound good," I tell them, "Go back to hear that and then talk to me after."
yeah, exactly.
Go
Yeah,
listen to what John did in the 80s, what John did in like the late 80s, especially like 87, 80, 89. The fact that he used to sing that part live,
yeah,
oh, and people don't appreciate it enough, you know what? Because I tell them, sing it yourself without getting tired. And he did it night after night after night.
yeah. And e- even professional singers can't even sing that song, especially with the key change in that. And John did it. John, you know,
And he was able to do it live.
yeah. And I tell you what, to this, so I've seen this band over 70 times. Not that that matters, but every single time that I have seen this band live and they've played
Yeah.
Prayer, I
Yes.
always get goosebumps. I tell you, nothing. The best part one of the best parts about the show is when they start, with David on the keys, and then the T go boom, 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 the crowd just everybody's off of their seats and they are singing every word, clapping, jumping, and just I mean, it's so electrifying. It's incredible.
I call it the national anthem of Bon Jovi. I know probably John what's it called?
Wanted,
What's the main one he calls
wanted.
he called that his main national anthem of Bon Jovi. But I think Living on a Prayer is definitely his.
Yeah. Yeah, for me as a fan, it's blaming on the love of rock and roll. Because like the first time I heard the music, I thought it was my own. I could feel it in my heartbeat. I could feel it in my bones. My mom. And for me as a fan, that's my theme song. That's my national anthem for this band. But one thing I do love about this live performance was when they get into the right before the final chorus, you got to hold on, ready or not, you live for the fight when it's all that you got. And then you hear the fireworks. And man, when I heard that the other day, this performance, I got goosebumps. That's oh my gosh, that sounds so freaking good.
Gave me so much energy after
Yeah.
because it was matching exactly what we were trying to give here.
Yep.
It was all exactly what we wanted to
Yeah.
hear in a perform in a Bon Jovi concert.
Yeah. And another thing too that was so great about this performance is the end when John has those ad libs and he's like basically, hang on, Gino, we're gonna get there, like just the way that he kind of finishes the song with all these ad libs.
He
It's
loves
so
it.
cool.
He loves doing it. Like, I'll give you another example in Captain Crush. Like he says, "Hey, Captain!" Like he loves doing these ad. He
Yeah,
loves
the ad libs.
the
Yeah.
ad lib. I think it, and I think it's pretty unique. You don't see a lot of bands or singers do these ad libs.
Yeah, and that's kind of like sometimes the boring part about it. Like I love so many other bands, but when I go see them, it seems like okay, here they don't sometimes they won't even introduce the song. They just play the song, next song, next song. All right, here's this song, next song. There's no personality, there's no audience to band connection, and John brings that.
Yeah,
John will take these songs to another level live. Like look at Always 1995 at Wembley with the end, through the wind, through the snow, through the driving alcohol,
I don't think
it
he's
just
ever done
adds
that. I don't think he's ever done that after 1995, right? To the wind, to the...
Crush Tour, Bounce Tour,
He did.
and Have a Nice Day. They did the List That Feels Right version. But I think Bounce Tour was the last time that they did some ad libs for Always. Maybe even a few times on the Circle Tour.
But again, I have to say, like him, like the fact how he can how he like what I love that every song that he actually says what's going to be like, I love like like there's some songs like if there's a doctor in the house, of course it's bad medicine. Like he knows to give you the
The
exact point
cue.
and
Yep.
to perform it, and
Yeah.
that's what makes him genius. Like he's not boring. Like you don't see like you said like other bands they can sing just sing other songs for 10 minutes without talking. But John will always know how to add. Or even if he doesn't talk, he'll always give the fans the special look that he's trying to take. And I have to say, that's
So,
pretty awesome. You
yeah,
know?
I agree with you. Yeah. Let's go to the next one. Wanted live in Detroit. Obviously, through the years we've seen Richie do a guitar intro. Um, I think this one's a great mix audio wise. I love the way that Obi and John and Henry
They took it together, no?
or Harry put it together. Yeah.
They put it.
Um, John's raw vocals. I think John's vocals are very raw and they sound really good. I enjoy it. Um,
Yeah. It's like John, it's like, and what's cool, you don't always hear John that raw in his
yeah.
vocals. So you get
And oh, good.
you get all of you get you like I said it before, you like here in this album you get exactly what it was in this concert specifically. Then you can hear in different concerts way different. So it's cool. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool to have these options.
Yeah, it is. And my favorite part is the build up before, I walk these streets. I got a guitar on my back. I play for keeps because I might not make it. I just love the way that it builds up to those lines and then the way that John just sings those. Oh man, it's good. So
Yeah, I have to say something like John. Maybe he got it from his friend Bruce. He's an amazing storyteller,
yeah, absolutely. And
and
that's a magical part about a
his
song is that
performances, in my opinion, especially like what you just said, that adds to it.
yep, it does. For me, it's like it's all about delivery. Like I was just telling somebody, and I've said this a million times.
Yeah.
Hearts Breaking Even off of These Days. One of my favorites, it is my favorite song on These Days. And, it's a great song. It's a great songwriting, but the way that John delivers the lines vocally, especially the chorus, it makes you feel the emotion of that song. And that's what makes the song so good. It takes it to another level because as a singer, you've got to you got to pull that audience in and make them feel what you're feeling in that song.
And then whenever you do it, it's like, you know what? I can think of it. I can even give you an example, like when John gave me like for, remember like in Cleveland in 2013, He did like Hey man, I'm alive. Oh, I forgot the name of it. What's it?
Someday it'll
Uh,
be Saturday night. Yeah.
yeah. But he did it in a version like that was so he got into it.
Mhm.
Like you got sucked into it.
Yeah.
And I have to say, this is like one of the best versions. I know we're not talking about it, but I'm trying to give an example, like when John really took it to his personal when he was feeling that.
Yeah. Yeah. It pulls the audience in, it pulls the listener, and you really feel the emotion of the song.
I have
Uh,
to say one more thing about that performance. Even Richie gave John a look that night when he was like still in the band. Like, whoa, that like he gave him like wow.
yeah. Yep. Next, last one is Let It Rock, over in New York. This is my favorite live track that we got on this release.
How many times did John perform Let It Rock? I didn't hear it too many times, like in later years. I don't think they.
No, I think it kind of stopped after the 90s. Sometimes on the Crush tour, so they did it in 2010, the beginning of the Circle tour, but
Yeah, I remember I heard it maybe a couple times, not many times, and it
yeah,
sucks. Amazing song. Like that's a live song. John should have done live much more, in my opinion.
yeah,
Like,
I agree. It pumps the crowd up, and this version too. It skips the Pink Flamingo, which is David's keyboard intro. Um, So, but the way that they do this version, and this is
yeah,
one of the reasons why I really love this version, in the intro and then halfway through the song, John is working the crowd up. So in
yeah,
the beginning, he says, I've been singing my ass off now. I want you guys to sing, just pumping that crowd up. And then in the middle, right before the guitar solo, John is joking with Richie, saying, I got the real rockers on my side, and it's getting everybody involved and say, no, I'm the rock, and just getting that crowd pumped up. And this song really shows you the kind of frontman that John was and is, and why they were the
like
greatest
why was
band.
he so appreciated? Why do people still talk about him 40
Yep.
years after this? Why people still want him? Because John gave a unique way to every song. He delivers. He knows how to deliver. He knows how to get the crowd into just watching him.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with you. So that was like the highlight of my for the song. And then one last thing that I enjoyed was the long Richie solo. And I think they lead into I'd have to look at the set list, but I think you could tell that it kind of leads into another song. Obviously they cut it, but the Richie jams on the guitar for like, I think for like a minute, and then right before they go into the next song, they cut it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Well, that's
Guitar
okay.
solo, I wanted to also say it was amazing. I
So,
love the Richie solo on the guitar was amazing
oh
here.
man, you ain't kidding. And it's funny because you watch videos of Richie playing and he makes it look so easy.
Easy. I
It's hard like Dry County,
Yeah. Dry, playing Dry County is so hard.
Oh, I know. It
I
is.
have to say, like, just the guitar, leave the vocals, leave performing it. Just playing on the guitar. It's so freaking hard.
It is, man. But
The fact
is
that he
there,
easy, that's amazing.
yeah. Was there anything else that you wanted to say about this deluxe edition? Anything
Uh,
that we didn't
I just
mention?
I just wanted to say that what I said earlier is that I was happy they gave us versions of different times live, and we got the live versions, and we got type of different type of versions of each songs that we know, and I think it just adds and makes it much more interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I think for like the diehards like us, we want obviously we love the album, but like we want stuff that's deep tracks, outtakes,
Yeah,
demos, a
and you know
lot.
what? And like what you said, maybe next year they're releasing another one, so it builds me up for
Yeah.
next year.
I mean, you've got to do something for 40 years of Slippery. You've got to do some kind of special
You know
release. And
what?
maybe,
You know what? Maybe, yeah, maybe release the most raw from when you were recording it. Maybe release, like what you didn't want. I don't know. Release maybe, some takes people laugh, make jokes.
yeah,
Release that.
yeah, exactly. But we'll see. I'm sure we'll get something, because I think 40 years it'll be August next year. So we will see what we get with Slippery next
Yeah,
year.
definitely.
So, All right, buddy, stay on. I'm going to end the recording. But again, buddy, thank you so much for, always
Thanks for having
supporting this,
me.
always supporting the podcast.
Of
Coming on
course.
today to do this episode. I know it's like 2 o'clock where you're at right now
Yeah, no, but it was
in the
pretty fun.
morning. Yeah.
Pretty fun.
All right, buddy. I'm going to have you on again, but thank you again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.